Corinne with our podcast coming from the NMW studios in Clearwater. And today we'd like to welcome our guest. This is Susan, a dear friend of mine. Susan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I invite friends and students to join me on podcasts, especially if they fly in and out of town a lot. So I was lucky enough to get Susan to join us today because she is in town. But Susan, tell the fans where you're from.
I am from, originally I'm from Canada. I live in Toronto part of the year, and I also live in Atlantic Canada part of the year. But I used to live in Clearwater Beach full time until, mostly when the hurricane hit 2 years ago and did some damage to my house, and I just haven't been down here much since. But I'm here today as both friend and student, equal parts.
Yes, we did experience many people losing things from the hurricane, and I didn't think about that when I started this interview, but now that Susan brought that up, would you share with the listeners what it was like for you to have to go through that situation, and now maybe a rebirth in I know you're redoing your house. Mm-hmm. So could you share with us your perspective on that? Because I know a lot of people lost a lot of things in Florida, especially our customers and our neighbors, because we live very close to the beach, as we do you. Yeah. And many people took it as an opportunity to purge and to regroup and to reorganize their lives. And it actually prompted me to do the same thing. I did not experience damage in the hurricane. My father, the house I live in, is a home he built, and he specifically purchased a house that was in a higher level, probably because my mother said, "Don't buy houses." But anyway, could you share that perspective?
We both live in the house built by the same architect.
Builder,
Ruttenberg.
Right. Yeah.
We weren't at the house when the hurricane hit our neighborhood you were supposed to leave. We didn't get a whole lot of water, really only an inch or so. But the remediation was sort of the same. They come in, they take all this stuff out. It did provide us with an opportunity right now to change the things that we always wanted to change, and we were so busy with other things we didn't get around to it. So that's why the scope of this project has become a little bigger than necessary, just to bring us back to where we were. Because I didn't want my old kitchen.
Sure.
And I didn't want my old bathrooms and whatnot. Sure. So my neighbors across the street and beside me both were torn down because their damage was too extensive. Wow. Our house, like yours, was built up a little bit.
Nice.
And it's a pretty strong house. These Florida houses built of cinder block and terrazzo floors.
Yeah.
You know, the drywall got a little damp and my rugs were toast, but we didn't have to do all the work we're doing. Nice. And right after the hurricane, it was an undertaking to find somebody legitimate to do work for you that, wasn't just for a cash grab. Sure. So that's why it's taken us, by the time we're done, it'll be 2 years from...
Wow. Yeah. Has it been that long already? Wow.
And consequently, it's impacted my ability to get to you and my dance family here. And I'd say that's what I miss the most about Florida. I don't miss the heat so much as some people might, but I miss this environment here and the camaraderie and the friendship and the good energy and the moves. I miss that so much.
The moves and the grooves. That brings us to our original introduction, which was at a dance studio. It wasn't my dance studio. I would go in and teach at it was called the Co-op at the time, and this beautiful blonde would come in, and she'd bring her little purse, and she'd come in and she'd do a little dancing, and then she'd split, and I'd be like, "Who was that?"
Yeah, who was that?
And it was you. And then the next week, it would happen again. You know, I would be teaching and she would come in her little person all dressed up to the nines, looking beautiful, and she'd do her dance lesson and she'd leave. And of course, I always take interests in my ladies. I like to help them achieve what they want to achieve on the dance floor, you know, because it's so important, it's so precious. So I knew from the very beginning, I thought, oh, maybe one day I'll get to work with this gal, you know. And sure enough, somehow, I don't even know exactly how we met. Do you remember how exactly we met?
Well, I do remember meeting you at it was like an open house, showcase rather. And you were in a gorgeous dress and floating through the room as you do. And I was sitting kind of off in a corner because I was new to all of this. I was new to dance, I was new to all these people, all of it was new to me. So I was choosing to kind of like, you know, shy away a little bit. But I think I started with your Rango Dance Fitness back at Dancers Co-op. And
that's how it started.
Yeah. And then I followed you around.
Right. We went from place to place.
Yeah. I got into this whole world. I say that it was like literally on a dare. Somebody asked me to do this dance skit for an event. And I did not know how to dance at all. Nothing. I didn't even know the names of dances hardly, unless I'd seen it on Dancing with the Stars. But I think I had just read something. It was someone had said that do things that scare you, and talk about something that scared me.
Right.
So instead of saying no when they asked me to do this, I said yes, and I found the nearest dance studio, Dancers Co-op.
Right.
And I went in there, and the woman that owned it was lovely.
Right.
And I took 5 lessons with Forrest. And I thought, oh, I'll be able to learn how to dance after 5 lessons.
That's what people think.
But he was so good, and he created a whole choreography for this thing. The owner gave me a dress to wear, dance shoes to wear, and I was so nervous about this whole thing, but I did it. And when it was done, it's like, well, I wasn't ready to stop doing it, because on some level it appealed, even though I had no skills whatsoever.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe it tapped into something that was always there. But
that's really neat. And that's where I come in, because that's when I used to see you come in with your purse. Yeah. I think by that time you were not dancing with the pro, you were actually dancing with the man who I never had met before, and I never knew where he came from or anything, but you were dancing with the guy that was you danced in the skit. And I think it was the tango that you all were doing. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It was called the Drunken Tango.
Oh, how interesting.
I can probably do the drunken part, but I don't know about the tango part.
So you cited earlier that it was scary.
Yeah, it was.
What is it about it that's scary from your perspective?
For me, it was walking into a studio, and there were these graceful Jane, and Eddie and Ricky, and all these fabulous dancers. They looked straight out of Dancing with the Stars, and I walk in, and I, didn't know what a box step was.
Right.
So, it was intimidating being on the same dance floor with these people. People be dancing in different portions of the floor.
Sure.
But in mine, it was like clunk, 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 and
well, that's what your perspective is, but
I
don't remember clunk, 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 but I hear you.
Yeah. It compared to the other dance. So that was the intimidating part, was realizing if everybody could just naturally be a fabulous dancer, everybody would naturally be a fabulous. There's true. like so many things in life.
That is true.
You put in the time and you get the results.
Yes.
And sometimes even if you put in the time, you might not get the results. But the time is really does help.
Yeah, it certainly helps.
And an instructor that you get the right energy from, and
connect.
Vibe with them, yeah.
That takes us to the Rungo Dance Fitness, which is, I think, what you started following me around.
Yeah.
I know that we went from place to place.
Yeah.
And until we got locked out of a place in the hot sun, I realized at that point that it was time to start my own place, and that's
Right.
what led us here to the Clearwater Dance Depot. But in any case, could you share with our listeners perhaps a few of the benefits that you've gotten from Rungo Dance Fit?
Well, friendship is probably, but friendship is really important to me, so I'm very cognizant of that component. Confidence, walking taller, straight, and feeling more. I still know there's, especially in the dance world, there's so many fabulous dancers. So when you surround yourself with those people, then you can realize how far you really have to go. But I don't feel that when I'm here. I feel just joy and learning, and through you I've learned to be more musical and hear the music and count the music too. Nice. And where's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it was always in there somewhere.
Yeah, you're very musical.
But I didn't have the language or the expression in my feet to use that. So yeah, I and what I like about this kind of dance is this is my jam musically.
Yeah.
Not a fan of so much like country and stuff like that, but sure. I love the classics, and I like some of the swing stuff, and turns out I like salsa, Spanish type music. Yeah, you do. Latin music. I like that stuff, and I didn't know I did.
Yeah, your body lights up when you.
So
one of the best parts of Rungo Dance Fit is that I usually stand in front of the mirror, and I'm watching everybody. And I have this uncanny ability that I've developed over the years to see just about everything that's going on behind me. And so I can catch little nuances that need attention. Yeah. Or if I see something really a spark that happens, ignites me to do the same thing over and again. And in Susan's case, she's very musical. So her body, she lights up with her eyes and her physical reaction to music that takes her either back to a fun time or a special memory or whatever. We all have that type of thing that goes on with music, at least most of us do. And if we can tap that into somebody's progress, I think that that's the way to go. In this case, sometimes in the dance world, we cram music down students' throats that they don't necessarily like. In fact, but for the sports guys, the younger people never knew what foxtrot was until Emmett Smith and the other guy, the big guy, Warren Sapp, was on Dancing with the Stars.
Right. Yep.
And so when those guys were on Dancing with the Stars, all of a sudden everybody knew what a foxtrot was and what a Viennese waltz was and what a quick step was. And it was at that point, and that's been at least 18 years, to where people started understanding that, music is different than the only music that you know. On the flip side, you get a young couple in and they don't necessarily want to dance to Frank Sinatra.
Right.
So they may want to dance to Pitbull.
Or they don't know they want to dance to Frank Sinatra.
Right. So I guess the music detection with the various music rhythms. In fact, we have a funny story. Remember that music, that Beyonce song? It starts dun 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 dun. Remember? I had told you about it, and then I said that's a song from the '60s, but I couldn't remember. And I looked, I Googled, I did every hint that you could possibly do. And one day you came in and you said, "Is it that Julie London song from 1960, blah, blah?"
I'm used to loving you.
That's the one.
No matter what I say.
That's the one. on, I got goosebumps. And that became a Roomba that I used.
Yeah.
So it was so neat to be able to spark that kind of an interest with a student who considers herself a non-dancer. But if you look at it from my perspective, a musical person is dancing all the time. You know, they may not be doing the steps, but they're moving and dancing all the time. And yeah, it's such a neat thing to see, because those students who have that music really blossom. And in your case, you blossom like a big flower when you hear music that you like. And that's really neat for me. And of course, but for her repairing her house, she wouldn't be here normally. And you're not here in the summer.
Not in the summer, no.
So I get to see her today. And a couple times the last month or so that I would not have been able to see her.
I miss this. I miss you.
I miss you too. Can you tell our listeners about your family?
Well, my family is mostly in Canada, where I was born, and I still have my 90 and 95-year-old mom and dad, and I have 2 children and 2 stepchildren and a wonderful husband, and we're all spread out in different places, but our happy place is this little cottage on the ocean and on the Atlantic in the province of New Brunswick, where I hope to be in about 10 days' time. And I have to get you out there to see my happy place. Lots of family, and great family, and
nice, very nice. I think we connect on that level as well with the family.
Lots of girl power.
Yeah, lots of nice energy.
Yeah.
Can you share with our listeners? You've cited a few benefits that you've gotten from the dancing. Could you elaborate, and could you also share with the husband that doesn't dance? You're a married lady, and the dance world in my environment is a safe place for a married woman to come to, and that doesn't necessarily mean that their husbands come to. We've talked about this before. So could you elaborate on that a bit?
Well, my husband, how I said I started this on this through this club dare, and then I said, I think I'm going to go back, and he's like, I think you should. And he, at no time did he ever, it's crazy to even say that he would feel threatened, but he loved that I had something that I loved to do. And that also bought him a little bit of free time for him to do his thing. And he likes to read a lot and watch documentaries and stuff. And if I'm happy, he's happy.
Nice.
So there was never any weirdness about me this is my own hobby.
Sure.
Although some people think that if you are going to go to a dance studio, it would be great. I would love it if my husband came.
Right.
But I can barely get him to. Every once in a while, I can get him to do a dance with me.
Right.
Sometimes the music is just, there's a song I love, and it's just oozing, and I can dance around the room on my own, and I don't expect him to do anything even as complicated as a box step, but just to, feel the movement
now you
with
see,
me.
This is what I've been telling you guys about. The women want to feel we've talked to Chris about this before, because he's nodding. The women want to feel the husband or the man they love hold them and move to the music. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're Fred Astaire and they're going to twirl you all over the place. Yeah. She didn't even expect him to do a box step.
Yeah.
Right?
And I can back lead my own self. If I want to do a turn, I'll just do it.
See? There you go.
Where there's a will, there's a way. But maybe not everybody's relationship is that way. But
no, it is not. It's interesting to get that perspective, because that is not I don't think that's the most popular sentiment. I think the husbands generally speaking, would prefer to have her dance with them, but they don't want to dance. So the woman is in a real, she's in a quandary, you know. Right. And I tell them all the time, I tell the husbands, she doesn't want to dance with Uncle George, the best dancer at the wedding in the family. She wants to dance with you. And there are plenty of women, though, that do it as a hobby, and it's a side hobby like golf for the men, you know, or watching documentaries or whatever their hobbies are. So that's it's very interesting to see how that works. Personally, what benefits do you think are the 3 top things that you've gotten from the dancing?
Well, I touched on the social.
Yes.
The physical part is, I'm hard pressed to think of any physical activity that, like, and I've done Pilates, yoga, Zumba, fitness, I've done, you name it, I've done all of them. And I've enjoyed them. But the Rungo classes are the ones that, that's the one fitness that I get excited to go to. And there's not an ounce of, I gotta do this. And the other ones, some days I would do a Pilates class and I'd maybe be, I'd be fine to do it. I was okay I was ambivalent.
Yeah.
But I was doing it for my health.
Sure.
This, it is good for my heart health, but it's more good for my joy.
Yeah.
So, but again, so there's the physical, there's the social, and the musical.
Yeah.
So I get to, express the movement through my body.
Yeah.
And hear the music and be with people.
Nice.
It's a real nice, friendly dance community here.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't have a lot of other ones to compare it to.
Yes.
But I think this place is a little bit exceptional that way. Well, it is for me anyhow, for sure.
And I have learned too that I think like-minded people attract one another. And what I try to do at the class is to really let students be free to express themselves and to let things go and to just allow yourself to be wrong and to be on the wrong foot and to have the hand in the wrong place. Because really at the end of the day, movement is the key, and as long as we're encouraging movement for each other, and it's an amazing thing what happens in the class, because repetition, everybody's doing the same thing over and over and again, and if you just trust the process, they start blossoming. Susan is a perfect example. When she came, she was unfamiliar with the stuff, and she's very heady, so she's thinking through things. She's a thinker. Would you agree with that?
Well, sometimes. Sometimes less so.
But now she kind of has more of a reactive body instead of a thinking body. We just had class today, and there were some things that I was doing today that a year ago you would not have, or maybe a year and a half ago you would not have been as comfortable doing. But today you just follow right along, and you add an arm, and I even think you added a head today when I looked over. I think you did a head snap as well, which, head snap is not one of those things that comes right away usually.
No.
But you've really, in addition to having a lovely friend who has been very kind of nice to have in my life, and we don't get to spend too much time together, but we're the type of friends where it doesn't matter. We can pick up where we left off at any time, and that's how kind of it works. That's why it was important for me to introduce Susan to our listeners, and she was also and has been an integral part of my Twinkler campaign. And could you share with the listeners one last concept about when you came to the Twinkler dance and when you volunteered as a date and what that whole process did for you?
Well, the Twinklers are a perfect example of where it might, technically you're kind of volunteering, but the balance is totally there of what you're giving maybe, but what you're getting back from them, and the spirit of well, I know the ladies more, like the young ladies better than the young males, but there are not more sweeter, more genuine, honest expressions than there are from those ladies. And being with them is so much fun. And if you're ever self-conscious dancer, they make you. They're the perfect example of they're doing their thing.
Right.
And sometimes we could all use a dose of just do you.
Do your thing.
So they're doing their thing, and they're smiling through it, and you can't help but smile.
It's true.
Along with them.
It is true. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Fabulous.
It is fabulous.
Fabulous group of women.
The little secret is that their title, the special needs, we're all under the assumption that they're coming to a place where the trained professionals are the ones that are going to be helping them and guide them and teach them and give them opportunities.
And there is that.
Of course there is. But the little secret
Yeah.
that you already said
Yeah.
is that they help us as much as we help them. They don't have bad hair days, and they don't have I don't look good in this outfit days, and they don't have that kind of stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
And
They're not judgmental.
No. They're joyous and kind and sweet, and it was always nice to have you aboard our dances.
Yeah, I miss them.
Well, there'll be more opportunities.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. Well, I'm so happy that we had a chance to introduce Susan to the group out there, and we look forward to having more podcasts with more guests. If you are interested in joining our podcast, please don't hesitate to contact the Clearwater Dance Depot. Thank you so much.